Aren't you last year's steam shovel winner?
What's up?
So this is the champion here, huh? What all have you done to it?
Yeah, I got bored out the diesel, you know, put a couple more yards of a shovel on there. I can go about half a mile an hour faster. Yeah. What are you driving?
Well,
Dude. Well, happy end of October, guys. How are you all doing? If you're wondering what that was, well, recently the family and I took a trip. You yourselves, if you are in southeast Kansas, look up West Mineral, which basically almost a ghost town. But that used to be mining country, strip mining, and that indeed, I think around 1960s, 1970s, that was the diesel electric, kind of like a train engine powered shovel called Big Brutus. You can look that up. It's a pretty interesting thing. It'd be worth your time to stop. It's like running around in a battleship in there, and the big old arm going up. There's still a staircase there. All the time that, like, I was a kid and so forth, you could climb up the arm outside, but we never went there as a family, and I never was there when that was before the lawyers and the insurance company got to the place, you know, and then they shut that down. I don't think anyone ever fell off or anything that I know of, but not allowed to have fun anymore, you know. Anyway, look it up, Big Brutus. If you're ever out in that area, you can check that out. What I'm going to do here with you is another little mini movie. I don't know how much I'll do with you, but I needed to get this other block on the engine stand so I can strip it down. And I just got the dust cover, the access shield off the front of this bell housing, and it is just packed in there full of junk. It's despicable. So I thought right away, oh, I have to share it with you guys, you know. So let's check this out. So I'm trying to get stuff moved out of here. I ran the first crank and cam through the wash cabinet, sprayed them down with oil. I'm going to bag them, tag them, take them home, and they'll be there if we need them. Got the heads loaded up. We'll probably start looking through those sometime. That other block's in here. Some guys made the comment that I could have kept working on the pistons, and they were just sure they'd come out, and I'm sure you're right. And I very well may do that. Pistons this stuck. It's debatable how important they are to me. Yeah, and the rods and bearings have value, so we may just keep working on it. But right now I want to tear this one down and see if it's usable. I called my local machine shop and they said they would sleeve a cylinder for around $300. Is that worth it? I don't know. It probably is. But it all depends on the rest. I'm a little worried about the bores that the lifters are in. You know, you can't even see that one. What it all looks like inside is really going to determine how enthusiastic I get about this block. So, obviously this is the one to machine if we're going to machine one, but because of the big hole in the other one, you know. But I got to tear it down. Now, yeah, I took that cover off, and I have no words for what that is. I don't know. I mean, what happened? But I'm going to pop the bell housing off. I'm sure I'll get a cascade of junk, and we'll sweep it out the door and continue on. Well, the shaft fought me and fought me hard, so I cut the cameras, but as you can understand, it was seized up. So basically I ended up just beating it out of there because I really don't care about any of that. I think probably flywheel could be cleaned up. Pressure plate, I don't know that it's worth it. What I was interested in, however, is what the clutch plate looked like, and it does look like it's been engaged. You can see the part number here, and it's just barely beginning to be worn off. And yeah, this side too, right there. I was really interested in that because this one, you can see carbon at the top of the piston travel. So I was really curious what that looked like. I should have cleaned up the top of that. I really shouldn't be scraping it, but I just wanted to see. Yeah, there's no ridge there at all. So what I'm thinking of doing, like I said, I believe I told you already, I called machine shop. They said they would sleeve a cylinder for about 300 bucks. I asked him what honing for the whole engine would be, because they'll have to hone that to size, you know, and it'd go up to probably 450 or so. So now I'm just going to let this drain, and we will pop the pan off, the timing cover off, continue to strip it down, continue to knock everything out. I'll probably have to knock the lifters out from the bottom once I get the camshaft out. Hopefully, I'm just crossing my fingers there that that's going to turn out okay, and that this is really going to be worth it. I mean, it's all pretty crusty, so I don't know. I don't know. Well, somebody's got a lot of nerve. My goodness. You can see I actually have solid oil coming out of this one. Makes me think that first one, which was obviously never run, never had oil put in it to begin with. I think the sludgy chunkiness out of that pan was just the residual stuff from putting the thing together, you know. So I don't know if any of this matters to anybody, but it's of interest, perhaps. Well, I really need to be moseying along, but I really wanted to open this thing up with you guys, so I'm going to do that really quick, try to clean up a little bit of mess, and then proceed with the rest of the day here. So I'm going to get you set up. I'm going to get some gloves on because this is nasty, and we'll see what it looks like on the inside. This engine stand was built for a Honda CRX engine, not a Chevy inline. Oh. Ew. It really taxes the old stand. That was gross. Well, as you can see, overall, we are much, much cleaner on this one. We still have some water, you know, the water was getting in here towards the front of the crankshaft, just like on the other one, probably on the cam too. It's got a little bit of crusty stuff down there on the lobes, but overall everything is looking much cleaner. Of course, that other one had a resident living in it, so yeah, I think pistons are all looking nice and clean down in there. So guys, here's where I see myself in regards to this project. I am going to, it's the end of the day again, and I need to get out of here on the road tomorrow, Central Oklahoma again, Chickasha this time. But I wanted to get this far with you, obviously. I'm going to continue to tear it down. Next time I have spare time, we'll pull all the pistons out. I will start a new feature length film, you know, and continue to bring you along for the ride. What I see myself doing, what I see happening here is completely strip it down. If I personally see nothing too devastating beyond the crack in the cylinder already, I am going to haul it to Dodge City where my machine shop is. And that guy is going to tell me whether or not it's worth proceeding. Now, it's going to cost $300 according to him to sleeve a cylinder and hone it. It would take about another $150 to hone all the rest of the cylinders. But there's no ridge, so if he can fix this, I'm going to get his opinion whether or not he thinks the other 5 are ball honeable, you know, whether or not he thinks I can ball hone them and get away with it. Hopefully we can rerun the same pistons. I will probably get rings, obviously gasket kit, and at least cam bearings. Everything else I think I should be able to save if the pistons come out okay. But you know, that $300 plus those few parts, that's a cheap enough, essentially brand new engine. If I went after one of those other engines I talked about, which I still want to do because I like stockpiling these things, more than likely they are in much more worn out condition, and I would have to, you know, a heavy machining and parts bill would come along with it. So I think if this is salvageable, I am still farther ahead using it if I can. That is my opinion right now. All of that may change at any time. I will bring you along for it. But at this point, I am going to sign off, clean up this huge mess, and carry on with my day. So either these go bad, or I have the Chuck Norris of mice living in here. I'm dead. This old stool's just a squeaker. Anyway, I am going to be reading partway through Acts chapter 3. Now this is just after, through Peter and John, the Lord healed the lame man that sat at the gate called Beautiful, and he followed Peter and John. As the man held on to Peter and John in Solomon's porch, as it was called, the people were amazed and ran to them. When Peter saw the people, he said to them, "Fellow Israelites, why are you surprised at this? And why do you stare at us? Do you think that it was by means of our own power or godliness that we made this man walk? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of our ancestors, has given divine glory to his servant Jesus. But you handed him over to the authorities, and you rejected him in Pilate's presence, even after Pilate had decided to set him free. He was holy and good, but you rejected him. And instead you asked Pilate to do you the favor of turning loose a murderer. You killed the one who leads to life. But God raised him from death, and we are witnesses to this. It was the power of his name that gave strength to this lame man. What you see and know is done by faith in his name. It was faith in Jesus that has made him well, as you can all see. And now, my brothers, I know that what you and your leaders did to Jesus was due to your ignorance. God announced long ago through all the prophets that his Messiah had to suffer, and he made it come true in this way. Repent then and turn to God, so that he will forgive your sins. If you do, times of spiritual strength will come from the Lord, and he will send Jesus, who is the Messiah. He is already chosen for you. He must remain in heaven until the time comes for all things to be made new, as God announced through his holy prophets of long ago. For Moses said, the Lord your God will send you a prophet, just as he sent me, and he will be one of your own people. You are to obey everything that he tells you to do. Anyone who does not obey that prophet shall be separated from God's people and destroyed. And all the prophets who had a message, including Samuel and those who came after him, also announced what has been happening these days. The promises of God through his prophets are for you, and you share in the covenant which God made with your ancestors. As he said to Abraham, through your descendants I will bless all the people on earth. And so God chose his servant and sent him to you first, to bless you by making every one of you turn away from his wicked ways. Now, last month, I believe it was, we went through when Jesus, they tried to trap Jesus with the adulterous woman, right? And thought he would break the law. They were banking on the fact he was going to break Mosaic law by telling them to let the woman go, and instead, surprise, surprise, he completely turned it back around on them. And I likened it to salvation. God offers salvation to the very people that ridicule, mock, and crucified him. A little while ago, I was sitting in our car with the kids, and my wife had an appointment, and we were just out in the parking lot waiting, and my daughter always jumps up in the front seat in those situations, and we play around and are just dorks. Anyway, for some reason we had an empty small Kleenex box, and she had it on her hand like a boxing glove, and she hit me smack in the face with it, and it didn't hurt, but it bent the nose pieces, For any of you that wear glasses and you ever get hit in the face, those things bend right away. And she's the kind of person that dwells on, so am I, dwells on mistakes or my own experience, dwelling on conversations that happened, and you think for so long of all the things you should have said, or if it was an uncomfortable situation, you're just embarrassed or uncomfortable or worried about it for a long, long time, And so she kept apologizing, and even, I think it was bedtime that evening, and she was almost in tears because she thought she actually hurt me. And, I said, it didn't hurt me, and we were okay even at that time. Right when it happened, I said it was no big deal. I fixed my glasses and we moved on. I didn't get angry or anything. But it was still bothering her. And I told her, this is what Satan does to you. He keeps laying on a guilt trip on your mind, trying to lay it on your heart as a distraction. When forgiveness wasn't even needed at this point. But when the issue's over and done with, when you've asked for forgiveness, whatever the case may be, it's over and done with. We as people, fallen people, it still attacks us, our hearts, our minds. And it seems to me, you hear the, I'm going to call it an excuse, that God wouldn't want me if he knew everything I've done, or he wouldn't want me because of everything I've done or been or whatever. That is an excuse, first of all. Second of all, they're saying that for one of two reasons. And I hope and pray none of you watching have that attitude. Because either you are saying that as an excuse not to take that step of faith of giving your whole heart and life to Christ, or you are ignorant of who Jesus is. You're not in the Word, so passages like I just read, who's he talking? He's talking to the very people. I mean, he doesn't mince words, make no bones, whatever. He doesn't pull any punches about it. He says, you did this to Jesus. But what does he do? He offers them the truth and God is still offering salvation to the very people that killed him, right? To say, God doesn't want me because of all the bad things I've done, you have never, if you truly believe that, you are completely ignorant of Scripture. Or you're just banking on an excuse not to go jump in with both feet. That's really all I have for this time, but people come up with a lot of excuses for not wanting to live a righteous life. They're comfortable in where they're at, and I understand. It's unknown, and that's where faith comes in. But none of it, 100% or 0%, however you want to look at it, absolutely none of the blame, none of the hesitancy, none of the one that's keeping you from doing it isn't God. He is 100% in there pulling for you. He is on your side wanting you to do this thing. Anything you've ever done, obviously you need forgiveness for it. And there are consequences to everything we do in life. There are consequences for me talking and breathing and drinking water. Everything we do in life, there are consequences. I'm going to drop the hat. Whoops, now my hat's dirty. Everything we do, everything we say, there can be a good or a bad consequence. So you may have to make amends to things you have done, to people you've hurt, things you've stolen, whatever the case may be. Yeah, and that's difficult. I've been there, right? But there is no... God's not looking the other way. God doesn't see you from across the room and he melts back into the crowd and tries to find the back exit. He's walking towards you. He's calling your name. He's saying, hey, come over here. It's 100% in your court. When Jesus was confronted with the adulterous woman, hey Jesus, what are you going to do to this woman that was caught in sin? He saved her life, right? So I really hope any of you who are listening to this don't offer that excuse. But if you do, think about these words, get in the Word, start to figure out who Jesus is. Read this every day. Just read a little bit every day. Find a good church that does not pull any punches, that does not back down from the whole truth. Form relationships there. Form a relationship with Jesus Christ. And you will soon see how good it is on the other side of things. Guys, I thank you so much for joining me. This is just one of those things. I didn't prepare for it at all. But I'm tired of hearing lame excuses, honestly. So, there you go, guys. Once again, thanks for joining me. We got some interesting changes coming up around here. So I got to pick up my hat. Got dirty for some reason. Hopefully we can start to move on projects a little quicker, get some more done. Still stuck in, bogged down in body work. You know, that just takes forever, and weather's changing, and I don't know what I'm finally gonna do. But anyway, not your problem. God bless you guys. We'll see you on the next one.